Hello, I'm Claudia Russo from the AIIA National Office. Today I'm here with Dr. Choi, Vice President for the Asan Institute for Policy Studies, who is here attending the Korea-Oceania Next Generation Policy Expert Forum. Thank you for joining me.
A pleasure to be here.
How is the outcome of the forthcoming presidential election likely to affect South Korea's strategic policy regarding Pyongyang?
Okay, the election outcome will affect the policy orientation of next administration. Depends on who is going to be elected as president. Of course, we have a relatively progressive candidate, Mr. Moon Jae-in. Actually, he's the strongest candidate at the moment. His policy seems to be a little bit more liberal and progressive, especially in how we are going to deal with North Korea. We like to engage North Korea instead of putting more pressure upon North Korea. That's one. So, but on the other hand, we have a candidate from the conservative parties, actually, who are arguing for more pressure than engagement. So it depends on who is going to be elected as a president. So South Korea will have different policies, but actually that's an internal setting. But on the other, there are two factors which will actually limit the orientation of the next administration. That's internal domestic public opinion. Second, external, the environment. Actually, at the moment, China and the U.S. are putting more pressure on North Korea. They're very reluctant to go engagement at this point of time. So that is very important factor the next the Korean administration should take into account. On the other hand, also domestically, actually, Korean public have become a little bit more centered to conservative, especially in dealing with North Korean issue. So North Korea is a primary concern of all people in Korea. So they will ask the government to take a little bit more cautious approach in handling North Korean issue, not just supporting the engagement policy toward North Korea. So it depends on who is going to be elected. On the other, for example, conservative members are arguing for more pressure and coordination with the United States. So which comes first, inter-Korean dialogue or international coordination and cooperation? So those are two main issues we have to see into the future.
How have the first 100 days of the Trump administration affected security on the Korean Peninsula?
Oh, actually, for example, from the mid of April until the end of April, tension actually was really high on the Korean Peninsula. Since actually the Trump administration just finished the North Korea policy and then began to implement the policy, which actually underscored comprehensive pressure upon North Korea. Not just simply on economic sanctions, but also the military preparedness, deterrent message. So actually in reaction to those actions taken by the United States as well as China, especially on the sanctions, North Korea has taken very provocative action. Of course, verbally, North Korea stated the biggest live fire exercise in their whole history. So, but tension actually arises. But anyhow, at the moment, we are entering into the stage of stabilizing the situation on the Korean Peninsula. Actually, in general, I think the Trump administration has taken a very different approach in handling North Korea. That raised some concerns especially on the part of Korea as well as Japan, because Trump administration has been arguing that all options on the table, and then the most serious concern both countries, the Korea and Japan, had whether United States is going to use forces against North Korea without any consultation with its allies. That was a concern, but actually that is over now. So I think we will be in a better position. Tension will be reduced through this. Maybe the next stage will be the stage of diplomacy and dialogue. But to have a dialogue with North Korea, we need to have North Korea's positive actions on denuclearization process. That's the front line. So still unpredictable, because whether North Korea take any kinds of very reliable action on the nuclear front, without that, there's no possibility for us to coming back to the negotiation or dialogue with North Korea. So tension actually was high, but actually began to reduce. So I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic about the situation on the Korean Peninsula.
In what way will President Xi's comments regarding less trade and financial support for the Kim regime affect the China-Korea relationship?
I think President Xi Jinping's comments and Chinese actions nowadays actually would become a factor which will contribute to deterioration of the relation between the two countries. Of course, China has been the main provider of all major assistance to North Korea: food, light industrial goods, and fuel. So China has begun to reduce the supply of those things to North Korea, and then North Korea responded back with a harsh word. So of course they have not specified the specific country. They have not used the word China, but actually they were someone who is siding with U.S. imperialism is not our ally. It's a very harsh word in their whole history with, the modern history with China. So I think there's, the relations between the two countries will get sour a little bit further. But North Korea cannot afford to lose China. So they will come back to a little bit better. They try to improve their relations as time goes by, maybe from the beginning of September, around that point of time, they will exchange it. Maybe China will become a little bit more cautious in enforcing the sanctions to induce North Korea back to normal relations. So at the moment, actually, we will see some kinds of turbulence between the two countries, but from the I think the fall of this year, we can see some kinds of rapprochement between the two countries. That's my prediction, but I can be wrong. But anyway, that's my prediction at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. Choi.
It's a pleasure.
For more information about the AIIA, please visit our website, internationalaffairs.org.au, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter.